Hello guys, it's Lucy. Time for a new journey. In 328, Scion got a new ascendancy, Reliquarian. Reliquarian have an incredible number of new ascendancy nodes. As a minion enjoyer, the Marta's teaching node caught my eye. Looks really good potential for minion crit builds. There are also Victorious Influence node for additional aura levels and reservation. So you have the option to play as an aura bot. I haven't played Scion for years, so I quickly decide my next build will be centered around it. On the other hand, I really want to try a life-staking Element Guardian of Smiting. It's very tanky and great for clearing tough content like Juicy Bridges or Deep Delve. 328 also released a new support gem, Transfusion, which gives the Element Guardian Sword Eater. Play with such godlike minions is really fun. Then an idea came to me. What if I combine life staking with the Reliquarian Ascendancy and play crit minions? It sounds viable, so let's see how it turns out. This time I decide to start from scratch, because I want to see how it feels to league start as a Scion. I found that there are no minion nodes near the Scion starting point, so running the campaign with minion skill would be painful. I end up following a speedrun guide, and started with Armageddon Brain and Cremation just for leveling. Running the campaign with fire skill worked pretty well, and the damage was solid. Let's talk about the plan. I will use Armageddon Brain and Respect to a minion build after I finish the campaign, because the caster passive tree passed toward the Witch. I won't have to respect too many points when I swap. But there's a problem. Life staking is not a comfy league starter. It requires a high level character and some expensive core item. Since I'm starting with a fresh account, I have to use a budget build to get my voice tones and farm currency before swapping to life staking. Scion isn't usually played as a minion build, so I decided to reinvent the wheel. I started playing in POB. Since Marta's teaching gives so much crit chance, poison minions were out. In the end, I decided to play a budget anti-weapon elemental crit aura bot build. It sounds crazy, but I think that's a perfect choice. From Ascendancy, we get additional aura levels, Reservation and AoE. We use high-level Anger and Warp to provide flat elemental damage for our minion. Then I will use Rocky Altar Stance as the anti-weapon to invert enemy elemental resistance. This literally triples the damage against pinnacle bosses. The best crit of Rocky Altar Stance is low, but that's fixed by Marta's teaching node. We can use a high base crit minion weight to bring the base crit to 11%, which means 60% more damage. That sounds promising, so let's see how it works out. It's time for the first lap in the campaign. Reliquarian Ascendancy provides nothing but 2 passive points. Second lap, I decide to get the movement speed node first. It feels good to run faster in campaign. For a fresh account or a late league starter, running a lab to gamble with skill gen is the most promising way to earn Chaos Orb early on. You can check the price of the Transfigure gen on POE Ninja. Oh, this gen is 10 Chaos. Not great, but okay. Now the campaign is almost complete. It's time to respect and go shopping. Oh, I got a problem. I have 14 Chaos Orbs, which is enough to start, but I totally forget about gold. I don't have enough gold to respect the passive tree and purchase my core item. I had no choice but to change the plan. I will run a few maps with Armageddon Brain first to farm enough gold. Finally, with a bit more gold and currency, it's time to respect. Remember to change the first ascendancy from movement speed to Victorious Influence, because we are going to play an aura bot with Warp and Anger. I bought a rebook of the War, a Chance of Command body armor, and a Screaming Terror ring. The gold still wasn't enough for all my gears, At least I got a core item. So I can barely start mapping with empty weapon. My starting empty guardian has nothing but a sword. It's time for mapping. The damage is okay, but the minion movement speed is quite slow. I should get a source of explosion in the next shopping session. Yeah, I reached now. Time for more shopping. I got annihilation support for explosions. The explosions definitely help the clear speed. But the melee minions still move too slow. It's really annoying having currency but no gold. I'm falling into a rotation of gold farming and shopping. I think next time I will label a Scion directly with a minion skill like SRS. I spend too much gold on respect. Lesson learned. I was so happy to see a wish of pursuit in Mirage. Yeah, I really need gold. Time for more shoppings. Wearing jar flask to sustain our weapons. Asian schools helmet for more damage and minion movement speed. 2 bone ring with high minion movement speed and crafted life. Whoa, it feels much better now. This is where the real game begins. Oh, my first mine. Blight never disappointed. Got some golds, so more shopping. Gloves with high resistance and crafted minion damage. Boots to cap resistance. And a unique amulet for dex and damage with hits is lucky, which is about 20% more damage. And it's time to craft our weapon. Yes, I didn't even use a weapon until yellow maps now. I bought a fractured crit chance minion wand, some essence of fear, and roll on the wand to get minion damage and try to find minion crit chance or crit multiplier. Yeah, it's good enough. It's time to equip my guardian, so buy some basic enemy guardian gear. Here is my AG gear now. Time to back for mapping. The damage is much better. You can just run and everything dies. That's why I love minion builds. Here is my mapping atlas. Let's talk about just command empty weapon builds in general. Empty weapon is one of the highest DPS minion archetype in the game, and it has a 0 button playstyle similar to Rita's Fire. Since they are melee minions, so the minion movement speed directly impacts your quality of life. The new annihilation supports provides explosions, so the mapping speed is also very fast. As for the downside, it's an empty guardian build, so you can break the map if your AG dies. Setting up this build is also quite complicated, with many details in passive tree and gear, but it's very fun once it's working. It's time for the final lap. Nothing great from gens. For the last ascendancy, I decided to fix my defense by taking the block chance node. I also annoyed as the mountain on my amulet to get more block chance, and got a high block chance shield. With the passive tree and Tempest shield, I can now cap at 78% attack and spell block. I feel much tankier. Before doing the first pinhole bosses, let's do the final shopping. Graphbind is a must-have item for bossing, and Rakiata Stance for the empty weapon. It triples our damage. So far, I already got all the items for this build. I have hit 16 million DPS and kept in my block. I'm ready to get all the voice tones.
Annihilation.
Easy.
Surprises. You deny us? To office. For what purpose? What dread?
Mirror farming seems quite profitable, so maybe I can farm it for currency later.
The living toy must enjoy our contests.
Now that I have the voice tones, I can continue my journey. The next target is to farm more currency for Life Stacker. Here is my bridge farming atlas. This build is very good at bridge, especially the hive and fortress. Juicy bridge is amazing and fun, and I can play the lottery with the Genesis tree. I like it. I feel like I need some life regen to AFK bridge safely. Let's fix it. Get a sulfur flask and craft bench a life regen during flask effect. Done. Now I can stable AFK bridge. Okay, everything's ready. Let's see how it turns out. It's time to complete the atlas. People may wonder what's the difference between playing minions with a Scion versus a Necromancer. Well, they both have their own advantages. Scion has higher damage compared to Necromancer, so it's easier to reach the DPS requirements for an FK playstyle. Additionally, the Scion's passive tree is closer to the Ranger area, allowing us to pick up flask clusters. This provides a lot of flask recharge, meaning Scion doesn't require the Screaming Terror Ring to sustain empty weapon. You can sustain your weapon using just 2 or 3 Whirlwind Jar flasks during painful boss fight. With no need for ring swapping, it offers a much better quality of life. On the other hand, without the Necromancer's Bone Barrier sentencing, Scion is squishier and lacking of life regen. However, you can find life regen on the passive tree to compensate. Ultimately, they both are good for minion builds, they just offer different advantages. I feel Necromancer is tankier and great for FK playstyle, while Scion is good at mapping and bossing. I feel Boss Rush is also profitable and fun. The tickets are really cheap now. So far, I already got all the items I need for this budget build. My overall gear cost is about 300 chaos. Overall bot works better than I expected. My original intention is to play a budget build to complete the Atlas and earn currency for my next Scion build, Life Stacker Age of Smiting. So I probably will not invest more currency on this setup for now, because this build is good enough for mapping, and the next significant upgrade will be Void Forge, which is so expensive now. So this is the episode 1 of my Reliquarian journey. It's time to take a break here. I will continue to complete the Atlas with empty weapon, making currency for the next expensive build, the Life Stacker. I will update the next episode soon, so keep safe and see you next time.